All right, there. Yep. Good evening, everybody. This is episode 59 of Music Memories. Arknolia and the Dr. Earl here with Arknolia Stroke of Bean, and we were just a moment talking about the winter time here, the winter blast that we had here in Texas. It kind of reminded me of the winter blast we used to have yearly back in Michigan. There,
Yeah, of course, we more than made up with that with our little heat wave.
I know. Yeah, we got which by the way is a pretty much I guess right now it's starting to start really getting warm now, concerning all the amounts of rain that we were getting for weeks and months now in the past.
Yeah, we're still hitting the 90s, but at least we're out of the 100-degree weather.
Yeah, it's good there because man, there were a lot of times. I remember when I used to go out and during the summer back in Michigan, when it was over 100 degrees, I was like, "Holy cow, dude, man!"
Yeah,
I even bawled out my best friend because he wanted to go out with long pants and a sweater. I was like, "Are you out of your damn mind?
yeah. Well,
Are you
down here we're
freaking?"
kind of used to it, so
Yeah.
although you
Oh
never
wow.
really get used to it, it's
Yeah.
still kind of like, it's hot.
I remember when the first summer down here back in 2014 after moving here, I had to do something with the back tire of the bike I had at the time. I had to put one of those, what do we call it? Those, what do you call it when you attach one automobile to another there? That rubber thing, what it's called there.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of.
You know,
Oh, I know what you're talking about, though.
I had to take a bunch of those and glue it to the back tire because the middle of the back tire was just about wore out thanks to the hot concrete.
Yeah.
So, and this is prior to
About
working.
halfway
Before
through
I
the
got
show, I'll probably remember the name and just blurt it out because
all
I have
right,
a bad habit of doing that.
all right there. All right, so what do you got for us today, dude?
Well, we're going to start with the Q's, and I only have one Q group.
Queen.
No,
Oh, my bad.
Queen's
Queen's
not
right.
part of this. Well,
Oh,
yeah, I
oh,
didn't think of them, so I guess I have two.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
Quarter Flash.
Oh my gosh, yes, I remember them. Harden my heart,
Yep,
find another fool, and it's like I don't know if I guess Randy and Minnie Ross. I guess they were the husband and wife leaders of that group. There, she was one of the first female saxophone players out there. I guess you could say, other than Candy Dulfer, who later came in a couple years later on, in the jazz scene there. But the video for that song was pretty interesting. There, she's running through all these places here, and she runs out with that jumpsuit on, and then she walks away, and the little trailer house or whatever it's called gets demolished by this tractor
yeah,
there. Which kind of, I guess a lot of women out there can relate to that song, the story behind it there, because after how many times you to try to get through to their man or their mates or so whoever, which kind of lover they have, whether it's male or female, it says, you know what, I had a heart in my heart. Yeah, I got to walk away from you because this relationship ain't going nowhere, man.
yeah, and I guess Find Another Fool kind of follows along with that theme.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. There was another one there. I guess they had another record there. I remember called "Take Me to Heart," which kind of had the same feel as the first record there.
Yeah,
And then they released this one album, I guess in '85. I forgot the title, but that went nowhere, and I guess we never saw or heard from them again.
yeah, which was kind of the theme of a lot of the bands in the 80s for some reason.
Yeah, they would just
One or
either
two or
break up.
three hits and nothing,
Yeah,
except
I
for a
don't know.
few of them that continued.
Yeah, it's like Duran Duran is one of them, because remember they had a couple of hits in the '90s there with "Ordinary World" and their
Yeah,
cover version of "Perfect Day," the Lou Reed song there.
yeah. Now we move to the R's.
Yep.
And the first band I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll mention them. REM.
Oh my God, I was never a fan of them either there. So, but they really, I guess it's safe to say that they were alternative back then. They didn't have half naked chicks in their videos. Some of their videos didn't really make a lot of sense at that time. I remember the original video for Radio Free Europe kind of touched on that, that wackiness, that oddness about that video there.
Yeah,
And along with the B-52s, they were one of the two major bands out of Athens, Georgia, to really make it big in the alternative scene at that time.
Yeah.
And they were like considered the prime act on IRS Records.
Yeah.
In fact, it was kind of like a bidding war between IRS and Warner Brothers Records after that one song, the one I love, became a massive hit. And of course, the follow up is the end of the world as we know it. And
Yeah.
I guess IRS tried to out top, Warner Brothers, but they eventually signed it with Warner Brothers in the end. I guess they finally called it quits. I think it was in 2011. I think it was.
Wow.
I think it was. Yeah. I was never a fan of them, anyways. To
Yeah.
me, some of their songs kind of like was kind of wimpy there when you think about it.
Yeah. And there's another one not on my list that I just happened to think of
Yeah.
that falls into that genre a little bit that I wasn't a big fan of. And it's the Radiohead.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, going back to REM, they do give a lot of credit for putting out that song "Everybody Hurts," which was encouraging everybody to turn away from suicide.
Right.
And I guess and when I guess there was a little live footage I was watching on MTV, some of the tour they did in '95. When they were playing that song, everybody was singing along because to them it made a lot of sense on what the top subject was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Radiohead you mentioned there, right?
Yeah.
And
Wasn't a
it's kind
fan
of
of
funny.
them either.
Yeah, and I mean, there was I. I couldn't stand that song "Creep" because to me it was one of those self-loathing songs that like it was so sappy. I'm just a loser. I'm a creep. I don't belong here. It's like, excuse me, I have too much of an attitude or ego to do that. I'm gonna walk in as diverse and odd as I am. I'm gonna walk in and say, "Take a look at me, motherfucker. I'm here. You
Yeah.
queer, and that's all there is." Ha ha ha. Bow down to me.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that these groups that are making all kinds of money and top of the world and all that, they're all self-loathing and stuff, and you're sitting there going,
I know.
"What
I
the
know. It's
heck are
like
you
I
got
mean,
to?"
I mean, I know Gene Simmons spoke out about that after the Kiss reunion tours that they did. It was like getting sick and tired of hearing about it. It's like, geez, if you don't want to be involved in it, just don't be in a group there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, but at the same time, they want to do their art. But we're artists. We're performers. We have a lot of things we want to say. We want to express ourselves. So like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We already know what you're going to say. It's all a bunch of BS. And the people who listen to that stuff there, they all follow into it, and they're the ones who fall into that SJW category there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm not from the. We are not, folks. Ark and I, and nor is Dave Rose or anybody else or Bosey out there. Shout out to those two guys. No way, in many shapes or forms, are we that pissy, pantsy, or whatever.
Oh, heck no.
No, we work on solving the issues there, not cry about it.
Yeah. Next group I got I kind of like, and I think they actually fall more into the 90s, and they were recently made famous with an ad.
Ah, rat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We
Shut.
like
I
our
hope.
house, but we have a rat problem.
Oh yeah, yeah. That song became big again on radio and on Spotify because of that Geico commercial that they appeared in.
Yeah.
And of course, that's expected. And now I want the kids out there. I did a vlog on this many months back when thing was trending there. And I suggested to the kids out there who know that only song to look up other tracks like
Oh,
Way
they
Cool
had some good
Jr.
ones.
Damn good, like Shame, Shame, Shame. Loving You's a Dirty Job. Stuff like
Were they
my
considered hair
glam
metal
metal.
or glam rock
Kind
or?
of like 80's metal, glam metal, hair metal, I guess it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely there. The LA rock, LA area there. They were like, I suggest to the people out there checking out other songs of theirs like "You're in Love," "You Lack of Communication," "I'm Insane," "Wanted Man," all those other songs out there. Go deeper. I did a review on their second record, "Invasion of Your Privacy," and not too long ago, many months back, because it's still one of my favorite records from them. It
Yeah.
still is.
Yeah,
It's like
they were one of the better bands of that type.
yeah, and by the way, well wishes to Stephen Pearcy, their frontman, who's been battling liver cancer for the past 3 years.
Oh
We didn't
well.
know about it until recently when he came out in an interview detailing the whole thing there. And
Well,
hopefully, I'm hoping maybe they'll probably, you know, possibly get their guitarist Warren D. Martini back into the group because he was out of the group for a while there because of some bullshit conflicts going on within touring schedules and all that stuff there. So, because right now it's Piercy, bassist Juan Crucier, and three new guys up there whose names I don't remember.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, they're definitely worth a listen, folks.
And they also, let's keep in mind, he also had Carlos Cavazo filling in for the late Robin Crosby on the guitar for the past couple of years, up until that big change came about a couple of years back. And remember Carlos Cavazo from his stint with Quiet Riot back in early
Yeah,
80s.
yeah. Next one I got, I'm cam, I'm kind of ambivalent about. I like a
Yeah.
couple of their songs and all, but then a lot of it's kind of like, and actually their entire thing kind of like makes me go, what? And that's the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, let me guess. Let me guess. The songs like
Well, I like
the
Under the
song.
Bridge.
Yeah, I couldn't stand it no more. Well, we all know what it's about there, no doubt about it, because it
Yeah.
was no secret that Anthony Kiedis was a heroin addict, and one of their original guitar players died from the same shit. But however, it just seems like it's kind of like mellowed out. Their music has become. I was never a big fan of theirs. I was tired up to here with hearing take it away now, take it away now, and all that other stuff there. I'm kind of tired of hearing it when you think about it
Well,
because
that's why I said I was kind of ambivalent about them. Yeah, I can take or leave them.
um, but the thing is, well, I prefer to leave them because to me it was just like pansy shit there, stuff for the soft rock, the alternative, the kids who dress, the people who dress up in the latest fashions, going to Starbucks, having their gluten-free food there along with their cappuccino, their latte, talking about how a good bass player Flea is. Would you? I remember this one time. Some guy I knew named Matt at a nearby bar in Richmond, Michigan, was asking me, "Would you consider Flea a phenomenal bass player?" I'm like, "Wait a minute. What about Lemmy Kilmister? What about Cliff Burton from Metallica? What about a guy from New York City named Bill Laswell, who
How
has
about John
done
Entwistle,
many John Entwistle? Absolutely.
John
Geezer
Paul
Butler?
Jones?
Absolutely there. What about those guys? But he was like, but wouldn't you say that Flea is this? Wouldn't you say that? I kept saying over, I don't listen to the Chili Peppers. I do not listen to the Chili Peppers. And, he just basically was like, blah, 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 and that
Yeah.
was the end of that conversation there.
Well, they did a decent, okay cover of the Stevie Wonder song "Higher
Yeah,
Ground."
yeah,
That was all right.
absolutely there. Yeah, it was okay there. And, but of course of course they did their version of Search and Destroy, the Iggy and Pop and the Stooges tune there for some soundtrack.
Yeah. But by
So,
and large, they're almost a knob turner,
yeah.
and you're familiar with
So,
a knob turner.
yeah, absolutely. You hear this song, you like turn it off, say, fuck this.
Yeah, button pusher.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's on the other stations?
Better anything better than this, hopefully there. I just, to me, when I think of the Chili Peppers, I think of all these, kids with the sneakers, the pants out to here, and all the copycats that try to come out imitate them. When you look at it,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, that's just not that's not my thing. You know,
Yep. Next one I find kind of interesting. I'm
yeah,
not sure whether or not I'm a huge fan or anything, but I do like some of the stuff because well, it's kind of out there, and it's Rob Zombie.
oh yeah, interesting. You got to give him that's something there because he was also a director. He's also an artist as well. He
Yep.
did. some art animation work for the Beavis and Butthead movie there. And and going back to him being the director, the movies he came out, the Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell, hi- his take on the Halloween, movies there, with Michael Myers, they deserved a lot of mention, because it's no secret but he's a big, big, big horror movie fan there. And let's not forget House of a Thousand Corpses, which
Yeah,
Wyatt heard was a homage to all those 1970s movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist there.
right.
It was
And
definitely a homage.
actually, I don't know how many albums he's got, but the one that kind of attracted my attention, I kind of like the way that the songs played out, I suppose, on some of them,
Let me
is that,
guess.
go ahead.
Hill, Hillbilly Deluxe.
Well, actually, it's the remixes of Music
Oh
to
yeah.
Strip by or whatever.
Yeah. That's his wife, by the way, on the front cover there, by the way. And by the way, I give him credit for having married such a hot babe there.
Yeah, but
But
some of
when I
those songs are, you know, really interesting.
Well, that's one of the reasons why remixes are more interesting because it's like you're doing something new with the song there. You're making it more interesting there. Another group that has been known to do that is Meat Beat Manifesto. They
Yeah,
took up and took listen to your original version of their song "Psych Out" and you listen to the remix, and it's like totally different songs there. But to me, a remix should be something like that, solely different.
yeah, and this definitely was.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and I think for a while he fronted White Zombie, or he was in the
He
group White
did. Yeah,
Zombie.
they were. Yeah, yeah. He started out with White Zombie. Their first record came out in 1985. They hit it big with that one called Devil Music Volume One.
Yeah,
Alex Sexatorno songs like Black Sunshine, which by the way had Iggy Pop doing the narration there.
and one of the
Thunder Kid.
interesting things that I saw was one of the Rob Zombie covers.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Roy Wood,
Oh.
he had a cover of Roy Wood's Wizard's Brew or something like that. It looked
Wow.
like Rob Zombie saw that cover. I like it. I'm going to do it because
Oh
they were
wow.
almost identical.
They're looking identical. I know. Yeah.
Same
And
kind of.
let's not forget his version of Brick House, the Commodore's hit.
Yeah, yeah. He's one of those guys that could remake a song and totally remake it.
Yeah, and he kind of like did a Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones, his way, I guess you could say there for a Ramones tribute record there.
Yeah, yeah.
But my personal favorite from him is the whole Hellbilly Deluxe album there.
That
That
is
record
good.
just totally kicked. I mean, Dracula, named after the Munsters vehicle there from the TV
Yeah,
series.
and actually, that's one of the songs that's remixed.
Yeah,
That man,
that got played a lot at the City Club in Detroit there. I'll tell you that there.
that's worth a listen. And Living Dead Girl.
Yep. Oh yeah. And so what I think of, well, I guess it's safe to say that when we hear Living Dead Girl now, we think of that AEW female wrestler Abaddon because that's how she's often billed as the Living Dead Girl Abaddon. If you
Yeah,
ever see this girl in the ring there with the makeup that she's like, holy cow. When I first saw her, I was like, what the? Oh my God! Get the crosses ready. Oh my God, a demon's gonna get us. It was like, turns out, of course, but then again, we all know it's a gimmick.
yeah, and it's a gimmick that's been done before.
Yeah.
I think Impact had a wrestler that was like that.
Yes, Rosemary.
Yeah, that's the one.
Rosemary, played by Courtney Rush, a well-respected Canadian wrestler there. And we also can't forget Daphne,
Right.
who started out with WCW and later moved to Impact as well, when it was known as TNA.
Yeah. Yeah, but we someday we're going to have a wrestling show of some sort.
I know. I'm still waiting on little Ashley. Ashley knows Rose. Bleh, Ashley Rose Nova to get back with me on what time she wants to do a wrestling show here. I should probably hit her up on Twitter once again in her DMs. And say, hey, did you
Tell her we're
ever look
going
at my
way back.
way back there? I'd like to have her on.
Yeah.
This would be the first female um, guest on my channel when you think about it there.
Yeah, that would be all right by me.
Yeah, it's true. So,
Well, after
okay.
Rob Zombie, I've got another big one from the 80s that I liked him pretty well was Robert Palmer.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace, dude.
Yeah, I
When
thought
I,
he had some great songs.
yeah, it's a good songs. The one I first remember him when I first heard him, the one I remembered firstly was Doctor Doctor Bad Case of Loving You
Yep,
from
yep,
1979. That was a big humongous hit on the radio at that time. And
yeah.
well, of course, we cannot forget his he also did a song called "You Are in My System," which a band called The System did at the same time. There.
Yeah, and of course there was Addicted to Love. Excuse
Oh
me.
yeah, and that was the year after the his stint with with the power station,
Yeah,
which by the way, really, I guess you could say, really propelled him to success with the when that album went humongously big with the songs "Some Like It Hot," the T-Rex cover included just as well there.
yeah.
And I guess he decided, hey, let's I like this. Even though he didn't tour with them, I guess he probably said it with the power station was a joke or something like that. Either that
Or
or he
just a
got called in.
project.
Yeah, something to do. But I guess he took some of that influence and put it into his music there for that record that came afterwards, which had "Addicted to Love" on it.
I can't remember the names of the songs, but he
Mm.
actually did a couple of Little Feat covers that were good.
Oh, really? I know he did a version
Sailing
of the.
Shoes.
Okay. I know he did a cover of the Gap Band's "Early in the Morning" for
Yeah,
one record he did around '88 there.
yeah.
And there was this one song that I remember, but kind of some every kind of people. I think of this name of it is when I hear that song. I remember being in a thrift store. It was called Value World at the time when that song would come out. And whenever I hear that song, I it takes me back to when you would sit and hear all this soft rock stuff at the in the doctor's waiting
Oh
room of
yeah,
the doctor's office. That's the kind of vibe I get when I hear that song there.
yeah. Next I got is the Romantics.
Oh, Detroit's own. Detroit's own, man. You know what? I remember their former drummer, Jimmy Marinos. He had a band after his departure from the Romantics. I think it was in '84, I think it was. And this was the year after they made it big with that song, Talking in Your Sleep,
Oh yeah,
Rock You Up and other songs there, One in a Million. Those songs became humongous hits. We cannot forget the song What I Like About You from 1979. They had the they had the coolest outfits on that first album cover. This leather bright red suits that they used to wear.
yep,
You look at the album cover, though it's just simply titled "The Romantics," folks. You need to see what I'm talking about there.
right.
But that was part of. I don't know if it was a part of the gimmick or their look or something like that. But that was most unique. They decided not to wear those after the second record there, which was which I had autographed by all the members, National Breakout,
Yeah,
and then the songs like, and that song's a great record to listen to. Friday night, The Hangout, or Tomboy, or my personal favorite from that record, A Night Like This, which is a pretty good song there.
yeah.
And I'm going back to their ex drummer Jimmy Marinos. He had a band years on later called the Motor City Rockers, and girl I was in kind of like had a thing for named Lena, kind of had a thing for one of their guitar players. She'd go check them out. I would go check them out, and me and Jimmy Marinos would hang out and talk. We even went back to their place in her, and they would talk. Chit chat. This and that. Their manager Murr, I guess it was short for Murray or something like that. Cool ass guy, super cool ass guy, man. He was a super cool dude, man. I miss those guys. I wonder where Jimmy Marinos is now,
Yeah,
because he was one of the cool guys as well. Damn, I miss him, man. He was a cool dude there. All the guys, their drummer Steve, the guitarist Crash, Eddie, the other guitar player. I forgot the name of the bass player. They even had a guy named Robert Gillespie. Used to play with Mitch Ryder. Played
Oh,
with him for a while there.
that's going
So
back a ways.
yeah, a long ways there. So, and I guess the Romantics are still together. I guess this guy, their current drummer, is Elvis Duran. I guess his name is,
Oh,
and I guess Wally Palmer, their frontman. I guess you see he's gained a little bit of weight.
it happens to all of us eventually,
And
except for a few. There are a few people
except
that
for
actually go the other
yeah,
way.
me, Iggy Pop, a couple others out there. You know, Tommy Lee of Motley Crue, he's still scrawny.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, next guy I got. I don't recall more than one song by this guy, but it was a good song.
mm,
It had an album too, I know. And used to be a former member of the Zombies,
mm.
Argent. That
Oh yeah, Rod Argent.
no, Russ
No,
Ballard.
oh Russ Ballard. Yeah, you remember? I remember you mentioned him. He had that song "Voices" from the '80s as
Yep,
well, right?
yeah,
I remember that song. I had that song
that's
for
a
some reason.
great song.
It was. It absolutely it was. Now, did this guy Russ Ballard later became the producer and co-songwriter with Alanis Morissette, if I remember?
I believe you're correct. I'm not
Let
on
me
for sure.
look it up there. On the Wikipedia there.
Yeah, but I
Hmm.
was kind of amazed he didn't do anything else that was up worthy of note.
Okay, Russ Ballard there. There we go here. Let's see. It should be coming up pretty soon. It takes a while on this dumb
Right,
computer here. He's an English singer, songwriter, musician, real cheek, coming up as prominence as singer guitarist for the band Argent
right.
and blah blah blah. Should be coming up there. Let me look him up. It takes a while for this dumb computer for some reason to activate when I click on something for some dumb reason. His compositions include You Could Do Magic, Since You've Been Gone, I Surrender, Liar, Winning, I Know There's Something Going On, Can't Shake Loose, So You Win Again, God Gave Rock and Roll to You, New
Great
York
song.
Groove there. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking God Gave Rock and Roll to You, which he did with Argent there.
Right.
There were hits for other artists during the 70s and 80s there. He also scored a couple minor hits of his own, including the one Voices. And solo recordings. Let's hear. So far, I'm looking for the guy who, because his last name was Ballard, the guy who worked it and produced it, Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill album there. And I don't see anywhere listed, so it's probably somebody else there.
Yeah.
Ah, all right. So he's 75 years old, by the way.
Wow.
Yep. And he's still around. His birthplace is Hertfordshire, England, I guess it is.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
knew he
so
was English.
yeah, we know, yeah, obviously there. And since you've been gone, because I remember, yeah, that song was written and recorded by Rainbow back in 1980 with Graham Bonnet on vocals. I Surrender as, of course, another Rainbow composition. Liar,
That was
uh,
Argent, and
yeah,
Three Dog Night
absolutely.
covered it.
Yeah, You Could Do Magic was recorded by the band America.
Right.
New York Groove was his. I Know There's Something Going On was written and recorded by Frida from ABBA there, featuring Phil Collins on backup vocals on drums. Winning, let's see there. So You Win Again, Can't Shake Loose. That was written for I think Volkswagen, another member of ABBA there. That came out in 1983 there. And of course, we cannot forget, yeah, of course, the two versions of God Gave Rock and Roll to You, one
First one.
and two. The first one was by Argent, and the second one being by Kiss.
Yeah, they changed it around a little bit so they
Yeah,
could
they
take
did.
some credit for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's probably, I just hope that they did justice by giving Argent half the credit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, knowing how some bands are, they just take all the credit and leave the guy who approached it with the idea out in the cold there. Thank goodness Bob Seger did not do that.
Right.
Because here's the story. So I forgot the name of the songwriter who originally wrote it, but that person originally wrote the original old time rock and roll, gave it to Seeger. Seeger heard it, rewrote some of the lyrics there, and gave half the credit, half the songwriting credit to the guy who originally composed it.
Right.
So that's kind of like doing justice right there when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. With Zeppelin, it took a court case to get him to
Uh,
give a nod to the composer of Dazed and Confused, or I'm Confused, or whatever you want to call it.
Dave's confused. Like not really a court, yeah, a court case. Yeah, forgot the fuck his name. What's his name again? Dan Dimon. What's
I want to say Robert Johnson, but I don't think that's right.
no, that's not him. Let me look up. Dang gummit.
But it's interesting because you hear that guy's version, then you hear, of all people, the Yardbirds cover during their last
Yeah.
live album because Page
Yep.
was playing on it, and then he took it and made it Dazed and Confused.
Yeah. That's true. There. It was. Yep. Should be coming up here. I forgot the guy's name here, but I think it was. What's his name here? Son of a name. Go. Come on. Come on. Stupid computer there. Now it's going. I hate when it does this here. Jake Holmes.
Yeah.
Jake
Okay.
Holmes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was originally performed originally by Jake Holmes in '67. It was a folk rock style, and later some concluded it was about a bad acid trip. And Holmes insisted that the lyrics referred to the effects of a girl's indecision of ending a relationship. After hearing Holmes perform the song at that same year, the Yardbirds reworked it with a new arrangement. It soon became a centerpiece of their later tours. With several which were re-recorded, released it on the various bootlegs or unofficial records. And with new lyrics and a new vocal line, it was recorded by Page's new group at the time, Led Zeppelin. It
Right.
became Zeppelin's signature song and the concert staple throughout their career. Holmes attempted to contact Page in the 80s regarding the songwriting credit, but got no response. In 2010, he sued, and the matter was settled out of court. With now the credit on the Zeppelin releases being changed to written by Jimmy Page, inspired by Jake Holmes.
Yeah.
That that's on
That
the
song
that's
would
on
have
the
never been without Jake Holmes.
absolutely there. But then again, Zeppelin have been known to be kings of plagiarism for a while now. There, according to
Yeah.
various theorists there.
If you ever want to hear the Yardbirds, they have a version on live at, I believe it's Anderson Theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
And also
when you
look it
hear
up
it,
on
it is
YouTube as well.
incredibly similar to the
The
Zeppelin
Zeppelin
version.
version, yeah. Or look it up on YouTube. They performed that version live on a French TV show there.
Yeah.
And that's where you got to see Page use that bow on that Telecaster that he had at that time there. And
Right.
also see Page looking very fly with that Victorian fringe jacket and shirt that he was wearing there during that performance.
Yeah.
Very fly when you look at it there.
Yeah. Okay. Next group I got starts the S's, and I
Hmm.
liked this band, Saga.
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude. First time I heard of them was when the original old days of MTV. They had a song called Don't Be Late, I think it was called. It was very epic. It was a very epic kind of song there. It was from an album they put out called Silent Night.
Well, they came very close to being a prog band.
Oh, I thought they were already, I think they already achieved that pretty well with their later releases, like,
Yeah.
like their album Worlds Apart with On the Loose.
On the Loose is a great song.
It is, man. And by the way, if we ever do a Canadian rock special, they're definitely included there because I'm not too which part of Canada that they're from there, but they came up with some good stuff. The
Yep.
last time I heard of them was back in '85. They put out this one record, and the song's called "What Do I Know."
Yeah. Next one, Scandal,
Oh my
Patti
goodness,
Smith.
Patti Smythe.
Smythe, right.
Yeah, that's her name. People kept confusing it. It's pronounced Smythe. And people presumed that it was Smith because of the way it was spelled there, but it was definitely Smythe.
Yeah.
It later became a scandal with Patti Smythe when they had that one song, "The Warrior,"
Right.
which was constantly played on the radio at that time. Right? I guess it was in '84. I think it was.
That sounds about right.
Love's got a Yeah. Of course, other songs like "Goodbye to You," "Love's Got a Line on You," and I guess Scandal kind of like fizzled out there. I know she had that one song with Don Henley called, what's it called there?
Oh,
It was a ballad.
yeah, I'm not really sure.
Something about love. Sometimes love isn't enough. I forgot so many years back, man. We're talking songs here that you remember hearing at that time, but years go on, you're like, what the fuck? Why? How did I forget that one?
Yeah, and I still do that on occasion with some songs and
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah.
Next one I got, eesh, I'm not sure exactly when they came out. I think it was the 80s, but it's more into
Hmm.
the 90s.
Yeah.
It's Scorpions.
Oh my gosh. There were 80s, there were 70s, 80s, 90s, and still on there.
Yeah,
You know what?
they had some good stuff.
Now, did you ever check out that video that I did that was concerning that guy Spencer Ailden? The guy who appeared on Nirvana's front cover of Nevermind. See him?
Oh, no, I need
Yeah,
to see that. I saw that you did it.
yeah, he did. Basically, he is suing the
Right.
members of Nirvana for apparently it was a child porn. Precisely, that's what I said, man.
That's
Well,
somebody
here's
just
the
trying to make a little money.
absolutely. That's what I'm thinking as well. Now, the thing that gets me is that you remember the Scorpions put it out an album titled Virgin Killer
Yeah,
in 1976, and you know the original cover of that album.
yeah,
Yes, we all know it. For those who don't know, who still had to have their heads in the ass, the original cover of that album featured a 10-year-old blonde girl in the buff in a seductive pose with a shattered glass effect in that downstairs area there. Years later on down the line, though that album cover caused humongous ruckus amongst, record stores, businessmen, they had to put that album inside of a bag or something like that when they sold
right.
it there. It was even deep child poured by the government of Sweden at one point. Now, when the Scorpions, met that model years later, she said she had no problem with doing that photo shoot. No problem whatsoever. And I'm pretty much sure the girl who did the modeling for that Blind Faith album
Oh
cover,
yeah,
she probably
I remember
she
that one
probably
too.
she probably had no issue with that either. But yet here's the kid who as an infant was swimming underneath the water, swimming after a dollar bill on a fish hook, claiming that that photo he did was child porn.
Like I
Hello,
said,
what
he's
is
trying to
going
get a little
on
money.
here? I'm thinking so, yes. I'm thinking so, yeah. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it looks like there.
Yeah,
I'm looking up Saga right now. I guess, Michael Sadler with the principal. He was the front man for the group there. I guess they're from Oakville, Ontario, Canada. And I'm looking for the album Silent Night that they did. It
yeah.
was a studio album. It came out in August 1980, and I'm looking up there because the songs Don't Be Late, Chapter 2, Too Much to Lose, Chapter 7, and it was like chapter, wow, interesting there. Each song is like a chapter 1, chapter 2 there. That's interesting there.
Well, that's
Mhm.
definitely
Oh,
proggy.
oh, definitely. They were definitely prog to the core, man, with the look at it.
Yeah,
Now, now, two of the songs, as I mentioned, the ones that we mentioned, were part of a series of 8, but later 16 songs that Saga included with their first 4 albums called The Chapters, which told the story of a young Albert Einstein. These songs were later included on the Chapters Live in 2005. To date, there's no official compilation to the Chapters in their studio incarnations. And I got to find that video on YouTube because, wow, that was a damn good song to listen to.
Yeah.
All right. And who do we have next, dude?
Next one I got is, well,
Hmm.
we'll mention her. Sheryl Crow.
Oh, gosh. Somebody shoot her. I'm sorry, but Cheryl, I couldn't stand her from the word go.
Yeah.
I never liked her because, she was one of those female performers with this sensitive, touch there. These women at that time, sitting in a coffee house talking about how life sucks and for being a woman. All the men chauvinist and sexism out there trying to keep us down, even though I have a corporate job and I have a drive a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Hmm. And I also go on the record say I'm tired of hearing I was sick to death of her music so much that one time I wanted to bust the radio whenever,
Knob Turner.
yeah, absolutely. And also did not like that song she did with Kid Rock. When Kid Rock did that song with her, was it called Picture, which I
Yeah.
never heard the end of when I was living in Richmond, because remember that the area there, Kid Rock was like the big king along with other country artists there. I
Yeah.
was like, man, whenever I would hear it, I'd be like, "Ah, give me a barf bucket."
Yeah. Next one I got ain't much better. Smash Mouth.
Oh gosh, those idiots. Never liked them either. I don't care how they try to fund, they try to present us, how they try to sound, how Disney like they were trying to be with some of their videos here, or if they did that song for that first Shrek movie. Fuck
Yeah.
them. I couldn't stand them. Yeah, ugh. Give me a break.
Yeah. Next one I got Smashing Pumpkins.
I was never a big fan of them either. But, you
Yeah,
know,
it's one of those things that goes with the old joke. People that ask, "Do you like Smashing Pumpkins?" And you say, "Yeah, but after about five or six, I get tired."
yeah. Absolutely there. I would probably go deeper. I would say it's like, no, but I like smashing heads.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
these guys.
Oh gosh, I couldn't stand them, and though I will, the only thing I appreciate Billy Corgan for is running the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, yeah,
They had a pay-per-view. I guess it was NWA 73. I think it was this past weekend, along with this Power pay-per-view, which was an all-female wrestling show there. I guess they had,
huh?
and if
Yeah.
I
Again, I don't
understand, Rick,
follow wrestling all that close, so
I know.
news to me.
I kind of miss the old NWA. I don't
Yeah,
really I miss watching NWA in general. But the thing is,
right.
they're currently on Fight TV, so what they had to have is the post show afterwards there, which all these people talking about the matches, how it went down, how the promos went, how this went down there, which doesn't really do nothing for me.
Right,
I liked it when they were still doing the free shows on YouTube before the pandemic hit. That was big on me,
right.
and we would come up with some good ideas there. They had Aaron Stevens, a former for, what's his name? Standout. What's his name? Wait a minute. What the heck? Wait a minute. Hold up a second
No,
there.
don't answer it.
I'm not answering. No, I'm not. What the hell? I can't answer it, dude. I'm sorry. Bring back old corrupted pod. What the fuck? I can't answer it. I'm sorry. We're busy in this conversation here. Bye.
Next
Missed
one I
call.
got is Sniffing the Tears, which actually I like Driver's Seat.
So did I. That was good. Whatever happened to them?
I don't know, but that's really about the only song I remember them doing.
I know. There was I remember that was a big song from them.
Yeah,
Big song from them. I guess let me look them up, because I wonder whatever happened to them because that song "Driver's Seat" was a damn good song.
Yeah, it was.
It's a British rock band known for that song from 1979. It was a big hit on the various radios. Coming in here, what do we have here? Let's see here. What we got here now? Sorry, I got a message. What's going on here? I got probably got a. Let me see here. I guess we got ourselves a couple
I'm,
messages. I think it was. What? You all right?
yeah, I'm fine.
All right. I thought you hit your. I was like something like that there. And it's why I it's got this YouTube link here and a picture of an amplifier, a Boss amplifier here.
Wow.
Give me a call when you're back. When you're back, I got this new amp with the repeat verb sound. That's nice, dude. But I'm probably be busy afterwards, doing some grocery shopping when we get down here, most likely when everybody else wakes up here.
Yeah.
And let me see here. Snipping the tears. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on, wake up, son of a bitch. There we go. There we go. Now we booming. Okay. In many countries, the song "Driver's Seat" was on number 15 in American Hot 100. The exception was the UK itself, when a problem with the with EMI's pressing plant meant that the single was not available. Following the band's acceptance on appearance on Top of the Pops, it peaked outside at the top 40. Is led by singer Paul Roberts, the band's sole constant member. He's a noted painter, and he's also responsible for painting of all the album covers that group has put it out there.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one I got is Soft Cell.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And we all know the cover version they put it out in the 80's there, Tainted Love.
Yeah.
And that version has been covered many times soon afterwards. Marilyn Manson did a version of that song. Karen Stricto and the Detroit Energy Asylum did their hard version of that. I remember seeing him doing that version at Paychex Lounge in Hamtramck, Michigan, a couple times in the past.
Yeah.
And Mark Allman, he will later have a solo career. And I guess the other Dave Ball, the other guy's name is, he would later put together an electronic music group of his own called The Grid. And one of the members, one of the songs they featured on one of their albums would have Robert Fripp of King Crimson on guitar there.
Oh wow.
I remember because my beloved Nancy had one of their CDs there.
Yeah, and
She
Robert
played
Fripp.
it.
If you've got Robert Fripp playing with you, you got something.
You got absolutely. It just asked, Andy Summers of the Police, David Sylvain of the band Japan. Robert Fripp did records with them.
David Bowie.
Brian Eno, David Bowie. Also, the Future Sound of London.
Yeah.
Great group. I hope they're still together because I love their work in the 90's there. We got to clue them on their list
Yeah.
because they put out some phenomenal albums like Accelerator, Life Forms, ISDN, Dead Cities. Oh man, love those records then, especially Life Forms. That was one of the
Yeah.
all-time. When I would ride my bike from Richmond to St. Clair, I would take the Fred W. Morrow Highway all the way there on a bike. One of the tapes I would have with me on cassette would be Life Forms by those guys. The feeling of Euphoria and Nirvana was just outstanding whenever I would listen to that album.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I listen and when it's sunny, when I ride my bike around the areas that we live in, was like on a blue sunny day. This I would get the same feeling there. It is definitely one of the top summer albums, next to Cashmere Dreams by Fernando Saunders and Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yeah. Next one I got,
Hmm.
uh, Soundgarden.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna say this. How much anger and resentment do the other members of Soundgarden feel now after what Chris Cornell did?
True.
Are they resentful? Are they angry? They must be angry at him
At the very
because
least, disappointed.
more beyond disappointed
Right.
because they were doing a 2 night stint at the Fox Theater in Detroit, and Chris Cornell were staying at the Motor City Casino Hotel, the Grand Hotel, MGM Grand Hotel, and when the news broke out about what happened there, it just really it boggled everyone because no doubt they were supposed to do a second show that night at the Fox Theater on Woodward,
Oh, wow.
and that had to have been a real shock. That no, wait a minute, let me take that back. It was a shock, and I bet you they came back after breaking up in '97. There, I guess they called it quits,
Yeah.
and he decided to come back together. I guess it was in what it was in 2010 or 2009, I think it was. He decided to get back together,
Right.
and to find out news that if you do after you did this great show, and then you find out the next day your singer has offed himself.
Yeah. Kind of like,
How
wow.
and it's just that had I my heart goes out to the guitars, Kim Thrall, Ben Shepherd, the bass player, and their drummer Matt Cameron. They're probably still angry and mad at what Chris Cornell did
Yeah.
because I'm sorry, I don't know what kind of issues he was having. I mean, he was mostly very respected. He had a
Right.
great range when it came to some hitting of some high notes. Some even christened him the Rob Halford of alternative grunge music there, because
Yeah.
he would often he hit some of the high notes in those earlier Soundgarden records like Bad Motor Finger.
Right.
There were favorites of Guns N' Roses. They had Soundgarden tour with them a few times there. And they were often given the green light to do more longer songs there when the GNR was going to be late that night. And they did, and Guns N' Roses took them out on tour with them because they liked the group and they wanted to expose their audience to this interesting group here.
Right. Yeah, that's how a lot of opening bands get famous. Is that
Yeah,
and one band will take them on tour and say, you guys here, let's put you out there and let people see you.
yeah. Another example, the band Autograph, who opened for Van Halen's 1984 tour.
Yeah.
After a while, they released their first record with that song "Turn Up the Radio,"
Right.
and it was just that song would become a radio hit because of their stint on that Van Halen tour. There, people remember them from that.
Yeah. Okay. Next one I got. Oh, well, they're okay, but they're what I call mom rock.
Oh,
Spin Doctors.
oh gosh, hippie bands. Now we're
Yeah.
going to the hippie area.
Yeah. They're kind of they
The
had two or
'90s
three.
hip, the '90s hippies, I would call them, with the dreadlocks, the cut off jeans there, with the little sandals there.
They were safe rock and roll, I guess you'd say.
Wimpy ass.
Yeah, they had
Wimpy. Never
two or
like.
three
I
songs that
couldn't
did really
stand them.
well, but you know,
I couldn't stand them. Couldn't stand them then. I don't stand. Can't stand them now.
yeah,
I couldn't stand them or Blues Traveler.
yeah. Next
They were
band,
they were considered jam bands there. Just jam long time, kind of like ripping off what the Grateful Dead originally did.
except
And
the Grateful Dead did a heck of a lot better.
I wasn't into Grateful Dead either.
Oh, I like that group.
Um, all right, so who's next?
Squeeze.
Oh, a band we haven't heard from in a long, long while there.
No, and they had two pretty big songs, Tempted
Yep,
and heck was
featuring
the
Paul Carrick on
yeah,
vocals there, I guess, who later will later work with Roger Waters. who we also
Right.
remember was the singer and songwriter of that group Ace, the
Right.
song "How Long."
Yeah.
And of course, they had another song. I forgot it was. The one I remember the way before that was "Cool for Cats."
Yeah. But the big one basically was Tempted.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that got played a lot of times on the radio there and on MTV there. Still up and played there on the for a while on the soft rock stuff there in the back past there.
Yeah. Okay, next one I got is another one that we'll probably skip over real quick. Stained.
Oh gosh, the new that wimpy ass, oh woe was me, I'm so hurt type of new metal there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just can't stand them. Never liked them then. Don't like them now. Can't stand them because and when you think about it, Aaron Lewis, the way he was acting a couple times in the past, who would want to be a fan of him?
The next one I got uh, had some pretty good solo stuff, but was better known for the group he was in, and that's Sting.
Oh yeah. You know what? Giving him his absolute due. This the Police were this kind of like a fast-paced punk band with songs like "Dead End Job," "So Lonely," and songs like "Message in the Bottle,"
Roxanne.
Can't Stand Losing You" as well. There, um, songs like Voices. What was that? No, no, Voicing. What was? Dang gummit! These are songs I'm trying to remember. They
Oh yeah, there's a
keep.
ton of them.
Oh yeah. So I think when the world's falling down, you are the best part of what's around there.
Dee doo da da dee da 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 or whatever it was.
Do 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 the da da da. That's how it was. Yes, that's how it was done there. And then he would transform himself after the police breakup. They would decide, to he would decide to kind of reinvent himself with more of a jazzier
Yeah.
sound there. Yes, he would have Bradford Marcellus as his one of his members there, who was the brother of Wynton Marsalis.
And there's at least four or five really decent songs, but I can't think of one of them.
Oh, I'm thinking if you love someone, set them free.
Yeah.
Fortress Surround Your Heart. Russians,
Another one about fields, but I can't remember the total name.
Fields of Gold.
Yeah, that's it.
Dude, that song is like whenever I hear that song, it reminds me of that area near Marysville, Michigan, where I would look out in the water and see. I guess it's Canada there,
Yeah.
and see this oil rig, this oil factory there. But some of the big buildings up there would be lighted up at night. Almost kind of reminds you of the city in Blade Runner, the first one there.
Right.
Yes, and it was just whenever when I think of that two thing pieces of music come to my mind when I think of that area there. Um, Fields of Gold by Sting and the complete So Red the Rose by Arcadia.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, by the way, did we ever did we ever mention them on their list here?
Arcadia?
Arcadia?
No.
Yeah, Arcadia. No, I would definitely plug them since I already plugged them many times. I even did a review of that one record on my channel there, probably last year there. Phenomenal record called So Red the Rose. It was basically, you remember the Power Station had, Andy Taylor and John Taylor, the
Right.
guitarist, the bass player from Duran Duran. Arcadia was kind of like considered a revenge project when you think about it. It was a lot more darker than what the Power
Right.
Station was. It was Simon Le Bon, Nick Rhodes, and Roger Taylor. And their record had a lot of interesting guest artists on there. Sting, who we just
Right.
mentioned. It also featured guitar from Pink Floyd's David Gilmour. Grace Jones did a couple of spoken word pieces on the first single, Election Day, and a track called The Flame. And it also had a bass player named Mark Egan. I think it what's his name? Mark Egan, I
Yeah.
guess his name is. who's I guess I understand a damn good bass player. He worked with the Pat Metheny group at one point, I guess.
Hmm.
Yes, and it's a shame that that record never really made it big as it did, as the Power Stations record did,
Right.
because it was such a phenomenal record to listen to. You know, nowadays when I ride my bike late at night, I would ride it to the Market Street area at times. I would listen to the Power Station. No, excuse me, Arcadia,
Right.
that one record on my MP3 there, and it was just really it takes me back when I first heard that album through a friend of mine, my best friend Dennis. Shout out to him in Royal, Michigan. He turned me on to that record there, and it's like, wow, I got to find this record here. Definitely got to find this album there. And wish I found the cassette, played it and loved it. Still love it to this very day. I consider that album one of the best all-time albums of the 1980s. Pronto.
Wow. I guess my last dance group, and then we've hit the hour mark, so I guess this will
Yes, we
be
did.
where.
Yes.
Okay, Stone Temple Pilots.
Mm. Another group out. They got even though they got a new lead singer whose name I don't know, who kind of like sounds like Scott Weiland. It's sad, that though they still attract the audience, but it's sad that the new stuff that they're trying to put out is not making it not getting that much attention because the people out there and the radio programmers included are so focused on the old stuff there.
Yeah, let's hear Interstate Love Song again. And
Yeah,
again. And
yeah,
again.
or Vaseline how many times in a row, or Sex Time Thing, or a Plush, or a
Yeah.
Wicked Garden. But at the same time, and I made a vlog about this, and I included Alice in Chains just as well. And while we're on the subject here, I'm going to talk about, let me say something. Um, I'm going to look up a statement that, let's see here, statement about his death there. This was on Rolling Stone there. And this was from RollingStone.com. And basically, she wrote a long essay about what was going on with her husband here.
Yeah.
And this was a very, very touching thing that she wrote. Now, Mary Forsberg Whalen, she is the mother of Scott Whalen's teenage children, 15-year-old Noah, 13-year-old Lucy. She wrote this with the help of in the days after his death on December 3rd, 2015. Here's she wrote. I'm going to read it all for you. December 3rd, 2013 is not the day Scott Weiland died. It is the official day that the public will use to mourn him. And it was the last day he could be propped up in front of a microphone in the financial benefit of or enjoyment of others. The outpouring of condolences and prayers offered to our children, Noah and Lucy, has been overwhelming, appreciated, and even comforting. But the truth is, like so many other kids, they lost their father years ago. What they truly lost was on December 3rd was hope. We do not want to downplay Scott's amazing talent, presence, or his ability to light up any stage with brilliant electricity.
Right.
So many people have been gracious enough to praise his gift. The music is here to stay. But at some point, someone needs to step up and point out and that yes, this will happen again. Because as a society, we often almost encourage it.
Right.
We read the awful reviews of a certain show. We watch the videos that are YouTube of artists falling down, unable to recall their lyrics. streaming on a teleprompter just a few feet away. You remember Stephen Pierce here, Red had that issue when they played the a theater in New York a couple years back. He was all screwed up apparently.
Yeah.
And then we add click to cart because what actually belongs in the hospital is now considered art. Good point there, Mary. Many of these artists have children, children with tears in their eyes, experiencing panic because their cries go unheard.
Right.
You might ask, how were we to know? We read that he loved spending time with his kids, that he had been drug free for years. We heard about that many times in the past. But in reality, what you didn't want to acknowledge was a paranoid man who couldn't remember his own lyrics, who was only photographed with his children a handful of times in the 15 years of fatherhood. I've always wanted to share more than with anyone was what's comfortable. When writing a book years ago, it pained me to sometimes gloss over so much grief and struggle, but I did what I thought was best for Noah and Lucy. I knew that they would one day see and feel everything that I've been trying to shield them from, and that they would eventually be brave enough to say, that mess was our father. We loved him, but a deep rooted mix of love and disappointment made up the majority of our relationship with him. Even after Scott and I split up, I spent countless hours trying to calm his paranoid fits, pushing him into the shower, filling
Right.
him up with coffee, just so that I could drop him into the audience of Noah's talent show or Lucy's musical. Those short encounters were my attempt at giving the kids a feeling of normalness with their father. But anything longer would turn into something scary and uncomfortable for them. Spending so many years immersed in Scott's multiple illnesses led to my own depression. At one point, I was diagnosed as a bipolar. I feared the same would happen to my children. There were times that Child Protective Services did not allow him to be alone with them. When Scott did move on to another relationship, I hope it would inspire him to grow. I have often encouraged him to date a normal girl, a woman who was also a mother, someone who had the energy that I no longer had to love him. Instead, when he remarried, the children were replaced. They were not invited to his wedding. Child support checks were often never arrived. Our once sweet Catholic boy refused to watch the kids participate in Christmas Eve plays because he was now an atheist. He had never set foot onto his house, and he can't remember the last time they saw him on Father's Day. I don't share with this you to cast judgment. I do so because you most likely know at least one child in the same shoes. If you do, please acknowledge them and their experience. Often to accompany them to the father daughter dance or teach them how to throw a football. Even the bravest girl or boy will refrain from asking for something like that.
Right.
They may be ashamed or not want to inconvenience you. Just offer or even insist if you have to. This is the final step in our long goodbye to Scott. Even though I felt we had no other choice, maybe we should have let him go. Or maybe these past few years of separation were his parting gift to us. The only way he could have to think to soften what he knew would someday crush us deep into our souls. Over the past few years, I could hear his sadness and confusion when he called me late into the night, often cry about his inability to separate himself from negative people or bad choices. I, I won't say he can rest now or that he's in a better place. He belongs with his children, barbecuing in the backyard or waiting on the Notre Dame game to come on. We are angry and sad about this loss, but
Yeah.
we are most devastated that he chose to give up. Noah and Lucy never sought perfection from their dad. They just kept hoping for a little effort. If you're a parent not giving up your best effort, all anyone asks you is that you try a little harder and not give up.
Right.
Progress, not perfection, is what children are praying for. Your children. Our hope for Scott sadly has died, but there is still hope for others. Let's choose to make this the first time we don't glorify this tragedy, of talk of rock and roll and the demons that, by the way, don't have to come with it. Skip the depressing T-shirt with the 1967 to 2015 on it. Use the money to take the kid to a ball game or out to get some ice cream.
Right.
And those are the words from his first wife, Mary Wyland, who the day after, a couple days after the passing of her husband, Scott Whalen, from Stone Temple Pilots. And when you think about it there, along with the death of Lane Stanley, which was of course from drug use as well, you know, one of the big reasons why I never got involved with drugs.
Yeah.
Too much
Yeah.
loss included. And me being a creature of habit that I am,
You don't want to start a habit like that.
absolutely, and plus, I spoke about this family a couple of times with YR and Minnesota Vikings fan. I remember you was in on the conversations about it. This family that I once knew and who lived in Detroit, the kids were drug addicts because of their abusive father. They never sought any treatment, and there was 9 kids altogether. There's only 2 sisters left now,
Wow.
and and we all know how one of the older sisters got herself destroyed by being hit by a car on I-94. I remember I mentioned the UNYR a couple episodes
Right.
back. You know, come on, people, stay off the drugs.
Yeah.
And we'll just let it go at that there, folks.
Okay. Well,
Stay straight and strong, people.
yeah, I guess we're going to do this again Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely, unless something comes up there, because usually there's been talk that it possibly may be called into work on Thursday because that's where the shipments and the groceries come in, and they told me yesterday that they may or may not need me to come in, and of course I'll let you know. I will let you know, of course, either the evening before or on that Thursday. I will let you know for sure, man.
Okay.
All right, there. All right, I guess that concludes it for today's episode of Music Memories with Arknolia and the Doctor there.
And we'll talk to everybody in 4 days, three
Or not,
days.
or in that 3 days, or next week there. All depends
Right.
there. Knowing the people at my workplace there. All right, you
Okay.
guys have a good weekend. You guys have a good week coming up. We will see you later on.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye now.
All right.